Okay. I think we're live again. Traffic seems to have come back. I think we're good. Not enough customers. Okay. Also, hey, Wandering Duo. welcome to the catastrophe. Dawn of Man series. Interesting. Yeah, that's not what I was thinking of. I was thinking more of like the Blue Coats. That quick play video is always on there. I do know that sometimes I'll get SimCity 3000 recommended. Interesting. And it's weird that it's videos like that, like 16. Why not the first one? What was special about 16 that it got recommended? The YouTube algorithm is weird. I don't really understand it. Now I did say I wanted to change the orientation of the one-ways. I guess it doesn't really matter. I was just thinking, you know, if you're in the right lane and you turn, then you'd want to go back down. But I guess it's not that big of a deal. Whatever, I'll just leave it. I can extend it this way, though. Right, I was doing all this for a purpose. Yeah, I guess I can do that too. That's fine. No, I have not talked about that yet. We actually kind of got sidetracked by the massive inundation of water everywhere. As you can see, I am still flooded. But they finally... Ooh, my trucks finally did get out here. So maybe I should actually do a little roundabout, or not roundabout, like a cloverleaf out here, just so my guys can actually get out here and be useful. This retaining wall has done nothing. It retains absolutely nothing. Can I... Let me... How do I... Hold on. M. That's it. This thing. Now can I... I can. I can lift it up. But now it looks terrible. I can undo that, right? Undo, undo, undo. Okay, so it didn't actually lift it up. I'm sure there is a three-dimensional thing for that. This is... yeah, this is not doing anything. If anything, it is actually causing some problems right now when I mess with it. Okay, well, I just won't touch it. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out how this mod works. But, yeah. It has given me a very nice floodplain out here, though. It's nice and flat out here. Weird. But no, speaking of the board game idea, I have actually started thinking about it. There's still a lot... Oh no, are we slowing down again? There's a lot of other games I still want to research and think about how they do things. But I've been thinking about sentient rivers in Solaris. There's something going on here for sure. There's definitely something. It is going to eat that mountain. Maybe I should actually just put a hydro dam here. I really actually think that it would be effective. Anyway, so right now on the board game idea, I've pretty much just got to the starting. Like, how do we want to start? And so, you know, just be... so I'd probably do this in like a straw poll or whatever. The stream seems to have stopped. Has the stream stopped? Because it's not. It looks like it's frozen. Okay. I guess it was just on my screen then. Interesting. Right. So for the opening of this game, it'd be something like, you know, are we colonists or exiles? And so the choices there would be different. If the settlement was a colony, then you would still have support structure, right? The settlement that you left, or the city that you left, or the country that you left, whatever, would know where you are, and so you'd early on have access to a trade network. You know, people would find you. The difference there is that you would be a colony, so not every decision that you made would be your own. Like, you'd have to conform to, you know, laws or maybe a religion or something. So there'd be a balance there, whereas if you were exiles, you'd have the freedom to develop however you wanted. But, you know, you might be invaded or persecuted, and it would be very difficult. No one would know where you were, so, you know, it would be very difficult to find a trade route right away. So I'm trying to think of stuff like that for the setup, and then for what I'm researching, I want to figure out, you know, what kinds of resources the settlement would start out with. And so in the quiet year, you choose resources for your settlement and your area, and then you choose some that are in abundance and some that are in scarcity, and then that kind of has an impact on what you can use. So I would think that, you know, we could implement something like that, or I was looking at like Banished. Banished starts you out with certain amounts of resources, and so what I'm also thinking that would do, the resources would be things that you could trade. You know, I don't think we'd go into the nuances of, you know, you've got 80 units of this or whatever, and then what does that go out to? For food, maybe, you know, like how much acreage would that feed and all that, you know, kind of. So I would be using implementing mechanics from like Hammurabi, so that a certain amount of food would feed a certain amount of people, so that you would know when the settlement was starving. But for goods, for trade goods, you know, it would be like, so we've got, I don't know, iron, for example. Is iron scarce? Is it abundant? Is it just enough? Is it in surplus? And so depending upon the amount of an item, that would be useful as trade goods. So, you'd be able to trade, say, a surplus of trade goods for like a scarce amount of another trade good or something like that. We'd figure out units basically of what that would trade rather than an actual value, unless it was something like a colony, in which case we would be using presumably like a kingdom's currency that would then be used in trade. So I don't know. I'm still trying to think of mechanics like that of how this would actually work. Well, yeah. So there would be like a taxation thing. So like, not necessarily you would need so much, X amount of what, but you would have to be able to provide, like in a scarcity, for example. If there were a taxation on that, so say we're in the colony scenario and you need to send stuff back, and there's a scarcity of something because of like famine or drought or whatever. I mean, the setting for this, I don't think we'd ever face drought, but so like fire burns down the warehouse or whatever, and the kingdom that you are a colony of is still going to demand taxes. Well, now you've got a scarcity of this good. What are you going to do? Do we just have none and have to give it all, or whatever? And so there's also the kind of like in Free Call. I played that game. You can choose. Well, is there going to be a point where we revolt and seek independence? Is there a peaceful independence? Like, do we purchase independence? Because there's a game that does that. I can't remember the game that does that, but you can build up and then buy yourself. Actually, it might be Free Call. I think it is. I think you can actually buy your independence in Free Call. I mean, the whole trading versus currency thing, I think historically is actually how things were done. It made a lot more sense to trade in a bunch of something rather than in coinage. Not everyone had access to coinage. But there are other things that we could do for that as well. In economy, like in the scenario of being exiles, you probably would not have access to coinage, so the currency would be a different type of trading. So like in medieval Japan, they had a form of currency, I guess. It was really more for taxation purposes, called the koku, which was effectively a certain amount of rice that could feed a person. So it wasn't really, it was taxation of a commodity rather than a currency, I guess. So there's all sorts of little systems that still have to figure out how to implement it. And I mean, there's also the Oregon Trail. At the beginning of the Oregon Trail, you get to load up your wagons and determine what goods you come to well, I mean, you're not going to a settlement in Oregon Trail, but you choose your starting setup basically. So I feel like that would be, and games like Dwarf Fortress and RimWorld do that too. So I feel like that would also be something, either either choose that or make that tied into part of, are you a colonist or are you an exile, refugee, whatever, you know, because if you're a colonist, you'd presumably have had the time to plan and have a really good setup of supplies and all that. Whereas if you are an exile, refugee, whatever, then presumably you bundled everything up in a rush and got the hell out of there. Well, what did you bring? So I think this is going to take a while before it fully implements. I do not want these big buildings over here. Why isn't there a medium level of housing? That's really annoying. Oop. Well, I guess we can keep going. Okay. Now this has stop signs. Okay, cool. Let's do the alleyway. That didn't go all the way, did it? It did. Put in some more people. Okay. So I'm actually starting to see a little bit more commercial demand. That's kind of nice. Maybe just fill in some of that here. Put in like another, maybe a small office building. Is that like the Dragon Riders of Pern? Is that the series you're talking about? Yeah. I never read it, but I'm familiar with the books. So maybe that's another research point. See, that's kind of where I'm at right now, is I'm trying to think of things to research. There's actually a channel on YouTube that's kind of interesting. It's called Townsend's, and a lot of it is cooking videos, but it's this guy who's a reenactor, an 18th century reenactor, and specifically in America, you know, like the America 1700s. And so he talks a lot about basically life in the 18th century, and so that's kind of an interesting thing that I've been watching to get ideas for mostly, you know, goods and that sort of thing. Where are we at? Let's keep adding more of these alleyways. I wish there was a way to take the block and just copy paste it. Guess we can do more like this. Nope, 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 nope. That is actually the wrong. That is the wrong thing. Although we could do it. Yeah, fine. Put in a little commercial building there. Why not? Maybe a park here? I never remember where the damn parks are. Could do a tennis court. That's a little bit bigger. Just something kind of random. An MMO. Maybe. There are... It's not, fuck, what's that called? The Black Road, Black Sand, something like that. I actually have it because it was free at one point, but I have yet to play it. I feel like there is a game like that, though, like an MMO, where you can create something. Like you can create the economy and build up settlements and stuff like that. I may be wrong. I may be thinking more of a manga. I guess we can do maybe some settlement. Yeah, no. Let's put in a park. Ooh, a plaza. I may. That's big. That's still too big. What about this garden? Still a lot of demand. I guess I could put in a big park. I'll kind of take out an alleyway. That's okay too, though. Why don't we think about where I'm going to put this? So maybe... right here. I'm going to take the 2-lane road with grass. I need to come in here and make sure my... Yeah, we don't want this. Apparently I'm not having the traffic issues I thought I might be having, because this does not seem to be a problem that I do not have these controlled. Where? Could do a loop there. Okay, well, so I was thinking of doing like a city hall right here, but maybe we don't want that actually right up against the end of this. that's still going to be one way. But I really, I really don't want to take 4-lane and suddenly crunch it down. I think that's a bad idea. So maybe we'll just actually offset it a little bit. That still runs it right by a one-way, though. Ugh. This is actually not so good. Oh, okay, well, I mean, there's a different way to approach this, actually. I can take that out, and we'll just go underground. What am I doing? I guess it would be this one. Well, in that case, if we're going to go underground, then we don't need to... I need this to go like half, maybe. And what is the... I forget what the elevation thing is. Page down, that's what it is. So that would make it kind of... right there, okay. Page down. There. So then, let's take and make this one actually, I need you to not do that. Let's come back up. We need to remove that. And then we'll take... I guess this one? No. I do not want you to be attached to that. Why? Yeah, that works, but not that far. It's because it's hitting that point. How far away? And then if we do a curve, I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay, this isn't doing what I want it to do. First, I'd probably better see how big this building actually is. Okay, that will actually fit right there. Well, I mean, that's not exactly what I was thinking. What's this free form? Can I do something with this? Okay, that works, that works. Now let's see if I can replicate it, because I was not paying attention to how far out I drag this thing. Yeah. Let's do parks. We could set up actual parks. I really kind of actually want to have the DLC now. Ooh, hey. Ah, damn it, that's too big. Well, okay, it would fit here. It would be on the one way. There we go. That's kind of cool. What is this? Just a botanical garden. Well, you know what? Maybe let's actually not do that, but we'll... It's fine to put it on one way, right? I don't even remember what the one-ways are now. We'll put it over here. And that is going to probably require a parking lot to make this look okay, which is back here. Oh, those are tiny. Oh, that's huge. I need something in between for my parking. I could do a parking garage. No. I mean, we've got a parking garage right next to a parking garage. The lack of diversity is really, actually, very annoying. So, where was that strip? I do have a strip of parking. There it is. That's not very good either. I was hoping it would rotate. Why isn't it? Because it goes lengthwise? Okay, you know what? We're just gonna go back to this. What does that look like? I mean, okay, now you're just being a bastard there. This is not cooperating. Maybe leave a little bit of green here. It is, after all, a botanical garden. It should probably have a little bit of botany in it. Why can I never remember where the damn plants are? Oh, that's kind of cool. Is that anything? It's just bushes. It does stick out a little bit. Why? Why are these so big? Yeah, we probably could have done a little bit of variation there. Yeah, we probably don't want that. Probably don't want that. Bushes? Flower. Oh, why is this so big? Oh, that looks actually pretty terrible. That is very much in the way. This definitely needs more trees. But I can't put on... I can if I get a mod. There is a mod that would allow me to put trees in this area. And these are kind of out of place. That is a very big tree that does not fit. That's a dead tree, looks like. Whatever. Let's get rid of that one. I'll just put in another one of those, whatever. More garages? Okay. Sorry, I have been ignoring the chat here